Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Philippine Startup Week, Quezon City for Innovation and Startups. Quezon City has always been a home to many startups. The local government recognizes them, together with the micro and small entrepreneurs, as vital to the growth and development of the city as a whole. To provide us an overview of the city's initiative for innovators and startups, let me call on Quezon City's beloved mayor, Mayor Joy Belmonte.
Greetings from Quezon City. In these unprecedented times that we live in, and with the pandemic still lingering in our communities, we need to find ways to provide solutions to our people's everyday struggles. That is why innovation is important now more than ever as we go through new challenges. It breeds ingenious, creative, and original solutions that we want the city to highlight and develop. Quezon City is home to innovators, technology-savvy individuals, and entrepreneurs. It is for this reason that we have set our goal in making our city the preferred business destination in the metro. We want Quezon City to be the birthplace of groundbreaking, trailblazing innovations, technologies, and businesses. Before the pandemic, we were gearing up for programs that would encourage more businesses to come and invest in our city. To sustain businesses, the city government launched a wage subsidy program called Kalingang QC para sa Negosyo. This program helped micro and small businesses weather the impact of COVID-19. By keeping their business ventures, they were able to help their employees provide for their families. Indeed, a win-win situation for all. Our Small Business and Cooperatives Development and Promotions Office has been active in supporting small enterprises and providing employment opportunities to many displaced Quezon City residents. We partnered with digital platforms such as Grab, Lalamove, Food Panda, and Shopee to provide livelihood to displaced tricycle and jeepney drivers and unemployed workers around the city and introduce a wider market reach to local businesses. Innovators and startup entrepreneurs share one characteristic: they are problem solvers. I invite all innovators and entrepreneurs to look around their communities and identify problems and pain points. From there, I'm confident that they can produce solutions that will benefit all Q citizens. Conferences like this Philippine Startup Week will surely ignite the spirit of young, creative, and great minds. Through this, we can look forward to the next award-winning technologies and business models that will provide lasting, holistic, and viable solutions for every problem. We in Quezon City will be fully prepared to support your growth and development. Maraming salamat po and God bless us all.
Thank you for that message, Mayor. To give us an in-depth discussion of the city's program, let me introduce our first speaker. He was a former Assistant Executive Secretary of the Office of the President of the Republic of the Philippines. He is also a former member of the Development Academy of the Philippines Board of Trustees and former Commissioner of Social Security System and a former business anchor and correspondent of the CNN Philippines. Let us all welcome City Administrator Mike Alimoro.
Hello, I'm Michael Imorong and City Administrator of Quezon City, and today I will talk to you about Quezon City's startup program. The startup program is really anchored on the mayor's 14-point agenda, specifically under the area of economic development. Underneath that are three items: making Quezon City the preferred destination for businesses, creating new jobs across more businesses, and developing growth hubs. In line with that, the city has outlined two overarching programs. The first is Kalingang QC Bangon Buhay program, which is really targeted towards starting up micro businesses. The second program is the one you're probably more interested about, which is Quezon City's Startup Fund, our program name to be determined at this point. Let me talk about the first program. The Kalingang QC Bangon Buhay program is really a livelihood training and financial assistance program. It's an overarching program encompassing Quezon City's existing livelihood programs, but expands on it to deliver a wider range of citizen needs. It's primarily targeted to individuals who've lost jobs due to disasters such as the pandemic or typhoon, and provides up to 20,000 pesos in financial assistance. Initially, we're looking at something close to 200 million as a startup fund. The existing programs, for example, include Tindahan ni Ate Joy, which provides funding for sari-sari stores, Freebiz, which is a program providing funding for bicycles, allows people to do startup jobs using bicycles. Home starter kits to move businesses online. And urban farming starter kits, which is financial assistance to start urban farming. The program, however, expands on all that so that the citizens are able to tell us what they need. So it could easily be things like, I need to start up carinderia. How much do you need for that? Or a down payment for a motorcycle for something like a Lala Move or Grab or something of that nature. So this is the micro business startup program. The second program, which is really something that the mayor has been pushing for a while now, is what we're calling right now the Quezon City Startup Fund. It's the Quezon City LGU's own startup fund or accelerator to develop startups and build a startup community. It provides seed money, the final amount to be determined. Startup businesses must be registered in Quezon City. Initially, the conceptualization is that Quezon City will take no equity. Startups here are characterized by the following: they must be innovative, solving a problem, replicable, scalable, with growth potential. And these may be for profit or non-profit. Process will include an application, screening, mentorship, pitches, and awarding. It's similar to what many have heard of, like Y Combinator or Kickstartup or other startup funds that you're familiar with. Initially, we're looking at startup funding close to about 100 million, where we're looking at this as startup funding every year with the intent of really pushing Quezon City as the startup capital of the Philippines.
Thank you so much for that discussion, CA Mike. Now we proceed with our next speaker. Ms. Maria Margarita Santos is presently the head of the Quezon City Government's Business Permits and Licensing Department and the concurrent officer in charge of the Market Development and Administration Department. With Ms. Santos at the helm of BPLD, it is the forefront of Quezon City's automation program with its recently launched QZ Biz Easy, an online business permit application system. She is the former chief of staff of the former House Speaker Feliciano Belmonte Jr. and also the former executive director of the Archives and Museum Management Bureau in the House of Representatives. Let us call on Ms. Margie Santos.
Good afternoon, startup community. I'm glad to be with you this afternoon to present to you the QZ Biz Easy. I am Margie Santos, the head of the Business Permits and Licensing Department of Quezon City. Okay. On October 2, 2020, Quezon City, headed by Mayor Joy Belmonte, launched QZ Biz Easy together with Attorney Jeremiah Belica of the Anti-Red Tape Authority. Under the QC Biz Easy program, business owners can now apply for their permits via an online portal, QCE Services. We have unified our forms so that all ancillary departments are only looking at one application. Okay, first, the system will first ask you to log in to QCE Services using your email. After you have uh, successfully registered, you will be directed to the um, online unified business permit application, fill it up, and then after submitting all the requirements, all the basic requirements, the BPLD will evaluate your application before routing them to the respective ancillary departments. We also have an automated feedback system where we respond to questions, queries via Viber, Facebook, and email. We also have an appointment system so that for taxpayers who would rather submit their application personally, they can set an appointment with the Business Permits and Licensing Department so that they have a sure schedule and they will be attended to personally by our concierge. This system also gives us a summary and dashboard reports of all applications that we have already received and processed. Okay. Under the QC Biz Easy, so once you submit the application, the system will send an acknowledgement email to the applicant. And then after the VPA, every step of the way, applicants are notified of the status of their permit application. So once the application has been evaluated by BPLD personnel, with the correct information and complete attachments, it will be routed to ancillary departments. The ancillary departments verify and evaluate application and check compliance based on each of the office or agency's guidelines. Then, after that, once na hurdle nyo na po yung mga ancillary departments and zoning, in particular, automatic po na i-route na po ng BPLD for tax assessment. After tax assessment, you will be notified again via email of the assessment and order of payment so that you can pay the initial tax on business establishments. So there is also an online payment gateway. And then these are the payment mechanism, payment mechanism, online payment, land bank, city o cashiers, business centers, satellite offices, or dito po sa Quezon City Hall main. After that, yan po, pagka nakabayad na po kayo nung tax assessment nyo, ino-notify din namin po kayo na via email kung issued na po yung permit nyo. Okay? Next is the business owner can then schedule an appointment to personally claim their business permit again via the QCE services portal, or ito po ang pinakamaganda, which we started in June 2020 as a response to the new normal. You can have your permit delivered right at your doorstep. Okay po. At the moment po, marami na rin pong nag-a-apply using our online portal. Although, sa totoo lang po, medyo hindi pa po, although under the new normal, mas maganda po yung no contact policy. Kaya lang po meron pong mga business owners talaga that they would rather personally submit their application. Pero ngayon po, meron na kaming 236 total na application na na-receive, and lahat po yan ay na-process na namin. Meron pong nakita na not permitted, ibinabalik po namin kaagad yan. And then, pagka po na-approve, dire-diretso na po yan. Hindi nyo na po kailangan lumabas ng bahay nyo dahil pwede na pong hintayin nyo na lang yung mga notices nyo sa email nyo kung ano na po yung status ng permit nyo at kung magbabayad na po kayo. Doon po sa pagbabayad, inaayos po namin yung mga online portals namin, pero at the moment pwede pong mag-deposit sa land bank, or meron din pong link doon. I think pagka less than 300,000 ay pwede pong magbayad via specific limited online portals po. Next. Okay. Yan po, as of November 18, medyo marami-rami na po kami na process. Nasa 108 na po yung out of the 238 na nag-apply, 108 po yung permissible sa kanilang zoning. Okay? And I'd like to show you this video presentation para po mas maintindihan niyo po kung paano nag-evolve ang business permitting process dito sa Quezon City from the time we took over in July 2019.
BOSS, a short four-letter word that has made a big and lasting impact on how business is done in Quezon City. Just like any boss in the business, it has led the way to making effective changes and improvements towards the development of the organization. With the newly revamped and improved Business One-Stop Shop, what was once a grueling task for business owners is now simpler and easier. All departments involved in reviewing and validating new business registrations and renewals are now housed under one roof for the convenience of each applicant. Now, all applications can be evaluated and approved in one go. Business owners no longer need to get lost trying to find the offices of the different departments. Together with the complete overhaul of the city's BOSS, business owners no longer have to deal with multiple application forms from each department. The business permit application form has been unified for our convenience. This also acts as a deterrent for fixers who sell application forms to unknowing applicants. Aside from the new unified application form, the business permit itself now features an e-signature of the approving authority for more efficiency, secured by a distinct QR code to prevent fraudulent permits. Complementing these changes are improvements and enhancements on physical structures and other processes. With the new normal, the city has made agile innovations to look after the safety of its constituents. An appointment system has been deployed to minimize face-to-face interactions. Another tool being utilized now is the e-response system, where taxpayers' queries are promptly addressed and answered via various social media platforms. QC Boss doesn't stop there. It evolves to something even better. QC Boss is now made available online. Now, business owners can apply for permits at the comfort of their homes or offices, monitor status of application, and have their permits delivered right at their doorstep, allowing business owner applicants to do the whole process without having to step foot in City Hall. This online application form is but a glimpse of what's to come. Because in QC, biz is easy.
Expect more changes to unfold from us as we endeavor to continue striving to better our performance and contribute towards the creation of a more enabling business environment in Quezon City.
Boss create enabling environment for retaining businesses and attract investments. As a result, it will create more jobs and alleviate the poverty in the city.
This is the future of doing business with Quezon City. You wouldn't want to miss being part of this innovation. The city, together with its business owners, magkakasama tayong lahat sa pag-unlad ng ating lungsod, where biz is easy.
Pero hindi po dyan nagtatapos ang innovations ng Quezon City pagdating sa business permitting process, because we are continuously evolving to better serve you. Ang next in line po sa aming business permitting process ay integrated na po ang ating barangay clearance application and processing. So you will get your barangay permit simultaneous with your business permit. Ganon din po yung application, processing, and issuance ng mga ancillary licenses, permits, and clearances. Dahil nga po, interconnected na po ang Quezon City ngayon pagdating sa business permit. Next din po, meron po kaming system-to-system data pull from the City Treasurer's Office. So inyo pong mga payments ay real-time na rin po naming makikita. Again, magdadagdag po kami ng mga online payment gateways para po mas mapabilis yung ating transaction. Next, meron din po tayong naka-line up na online business verification, which allows the public to verify a business permit. For example, you're inside a establishment that did not issue the proper receipt, pwede nyo pong i-report kaagad sa business permit via the online portal. At pabi-verify nyo po kung ang isang establishment ay na pinasok nyo or pinuntahan nyo or nakikipag-transact kayo ay duly registered at duly licensed ng city. Meron din po kaming dinidevelop na automated inspection system. Ito po ay isa sa mga cause of graft and corruption before. Actually, even up to now, may mga ganito pa rin po. Kaya lang po, dito po sa Quezon City, ayaw na po namin ng ganyan. Dahil ang advocacy po namin is good governance. So, yan po, yung aming pong automated inspection system will prevent over-familiarization between business establishments and our licensed inspectors. So, electronic raffle of inspection assignment to avoid human discretion and intervention. At hindi na po nila kayo pwedeng maharas. Real-time na rin po ang validation and verification of ancillary compliances as well as i-geotag po namin ang inyong business establishments. Okay. Yun lang po. Ganun na po kadali mag-apply ng business permit dito sa Quezon City. Inayos po namin para sa mga startups na kagaya nyo ay hindi rin po kayo mag-atubili na kumuha ng permit, mag-apply at kumuha ng permit dito sa Quezon City. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you so much for that discussion, Ms. March. Now we proceed with Ms. Mona Yap. Throughout her young career, Mona Celine Yap has always advocated for the startups and small businesses as drivers of innovation and development. After finishing her studies at the Ateneo de Manila University and attaining a postgraduate degree in public management, she worked as a program officer under the office of then Senator Paulo Benigno Bam Aquino IV, where she engaged and helped develop our MSMEs all over the Philippines through the implementation of the Go Negosyo Act. Now, as the youngest department head under Mayor Joy Belmonte, she brings her passion and experience to promote and develop Quezon City micro and small businesses and entrepreneurs through the QC Small Business and Cooperatives Development and Promotions Office. Let me call on Ms. Mona Celine Yap.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mona, the head of the Quezon City Small Business Development Office, and I'm here to talk to you about the different digital platforms the Quezon City LGU engaged during the pandemic. The background: during the early days of the pandemic, QC being the largest and most populated city, we were the epicenter of the outbreak. A lot of people were unemployed, a lot of people were quarantined in their homes, and there was no movement in the city. According to the World Bank survey that was conducted in July, 15% of the businesses permanently closed due to the pandemic. And our office, being very proactive when it comes to these things, we partnered with digital and online platforms to support our affected business and employees in Quezon City. So first, we partnered with the Office of the Vice President. We made one of our public markets into a community mart app. This is really transforming the way you shop in the usual palengke. This is the community mart also has partner LGUs in other cities, but we were actually the first that they've engaged in. So we transformed Kamuning Market into an app where you can download, just like how you download the Grab or the Food Panda. So this was we were able to tap 40 vendors, and also it made more than ₱1 million worth in sales in the first 2 weeks of when the app came online. So we also provide same-day delivery, and we engage with our displaced tricycle drivers back then during ECQ when they weren't allowed to participate as modes of transportation. We also engaged with a delivery service app, Food Panda, wherein we hired 500 tricycle operators and drivers. So across the city, we have over 12,000 TODA drivers, but only 500 were able to apply. It was a very big help for them, especially when they had limited movement during the ECQ and during the NGCQ. So right now, there's still Food Panda rider apps, and they've been able to earn at least 1,000 to 2,000 pesos per day during their deliveries. So this is just to show you the activation, onboarding. For this one, the Lala Jeep, this was a very special program because we were thinking, why not, because the GP drivers were the ones who until now are actually not at 100% capacity being back on the roads. We really needed something to have our jeepney drivers who have no means of livelihood. So we partnered with Lala Move and created the Lala Jeep. So this is exclusive to Quezon City. I think because we're the biggest city in the Philippines, Lala Jeep would be worth doing because of the distance between the different barangays. So this was sought to provide alternative livelihood opportunities for our jeepney drivers, and a total of 200 jeepney drivers were hired by Lala Move, and until now they're still operating. And I'm hearing from the last month report that they're still very much active and they're very in demand. So this is just to show you when we activated them, there was stickering involved. We taught them how to manage the Lala Move app, etc. And we also partnered, of course, with Grab, another delivery platform. So this is still ongoing. We're planning to hire 500 rider partners and also engage our micro and small businesses, especially the food businesses, to become Grab food merchants. This is actually happening across NCR, Manila, Navotas, Valenzuela, etc. So this is just screening, onboarding. And our last, this isn't really a digital platform. We just use an online platform to engage with them. So we had the Kalingang QC para sa Negosyo, which is a wage relief program. This is part of our sustainable recovery, economic recovery plan for the year. We set this up our e-services portal in our website. So the QC e-services. This is a wage relief program for micro business owners that have no capacity to pay for their employees since they were closed for so many months. We wanted to help them secure the jobs of their employees. So the Quezon City government paid or is paying a 3-month salary for their employees. So this is just the process. And lastly, we are also partnered with one of the biggest e-commerce sites, actually one of the biggest in Asia, Shopee. So we are getting a lot of online signups from those home-based sellers to be on Shopee. So we've had master classes. We teach them how to use their money, their online money accounts like GCash or PayMaya, etc. So this aims to provide free registration and training for our QC vendors.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mona. Such interesting programs initiated by SBCDPO during this pandemic. I hope you learned a lot from the discussion of City Administrator Mike Alimurong, DPLD Head Margie Santos, and SBCDPO Mona Yap on the efforts of the Quezon City local government in helping startups. Now we proceed with a panel discussion with the Education Affairs Unit and the Public Employment Services Office. Our first speaker is former councilor and chairperson for the Committee on Education, Science and Technology, and currently the head of Education Affairs Unit of Quezon City Government. Let me call on Ms. Ali Medalla.
So good afternoon, everybody. I'm Ali Medalla from the Education Affairs Unit of Quezon City under the Office of the City Mayor. And today I was tasked to share with you our Quezon City University. So let me just share a few slides for you to get to know our university better and understand where we are as a local university or college. So the Quezon City University is a local government-funded university. Our category is under LUCs, which is local universities and colleges, and it is fully supported by the local government. It was established as a polytechnic university in 1994 and has been converted just this year to Quezon City University. We have 3 campuses and 5 programs under the university. Tucked in the northern portion of the city. The main campus is in Novaliches, with Batasan and San Francisco as the satellite campuses. Our 5 programs are BS Accounting, IT, Entrepreneurship, Industrial Engineering, and Electronics Engineering. As of November 2020, our small, humble, yet progressive university has about 9,487 learners, a majority of which are constituents of our city. So in terms of collaboration and having innovative programs, let me share with you some ideas that might be of interest to this community. Of course, online education is no longer nice to have these days. It's no longer just a contingency plan. I believe it is now part of the core strategy of every university if they want to remain relevant, diversify income, if any, and of course, up the quality of education. But what we really need is to have more access to global instruction. And of course, what comes along with it would be advisory and mentorship from the industry. If previously talents were very hard to reach, I believe online education would be much more accessible to us. And I hope that we are able to collaborate on solutions such as this. Number two would be shared services. Universities like to innovate, universities like to reinvent the wheel. And I think acknowledging the fact that some universities are centers of excellence, and collaborating is one thing that they are willing to or are open to. Shared services among universities can be very cost efficient. Services such as laboratories, libraries, services such as mental health and career services can be shared among universities. And the University of Quezon City is very much willing to partner with educational institutions, not only in our city, but of course, nationwide. Third would be apprenticeship and OJT or training placement. Before, we would always hear or be familiar with job placement. But what is lacking there is the preparation. Usually, in our conversations with industry leaders, what they always tell us is that curriculum is not matched to what is being looked for in a candidate for the jobs that they offer. And so we hope to find a solution to be able to place our students in such placement program wherein they can get relevant experience prior to being hired or actually looking for these jobs. And the last one would be technopreneurship. One very important facility that we have in the university is the Korea Philippine Information Technology Center. It just sits there. And I think turning this, with the vision of the mayor, of course, turning this into an innovation hub wherein we can pool resources in order to support our students, which have who have very promising programs, if I may say so, can boost the technopreneurship program of the university. So to sum it all up, of course, we want accessible online quality education. We would like to have a shared services solution, a more effective OJT or apprenticeship placement, and of course, support for our technopreneurs. So that's it for me. Thank you again. Back to you, Jeriel.
Thank you so much for that wonderful discussion, Miss Ali. Now we proceed with the Assistant Head of the Public Employment Services Office, Mr. Alex Macabulos.
Good day, everyone. I'm Joe Alex Macabulos, from Assistant Department Head of the Public Employment Service Office. The new normal has greatly challenged us to upgrade our programs and services and embraces the changes. In response to the call of the Quezon City government in giving employment and job opportunities in this time of crisis, and also to our aspiring business startups, hence, here are the initiatives under the new normal of the Public Employment Service Office. First, PESO provides employment facilitation for startups. We are making it easy for the potential employees of startups through walk-in or online application. Second, PESO provides facilitation for the registration of startup as employers. Here, we have reduced the requirements for startups in accrediting with PESO. We only require a valid business permit from the Business Permit and Licensing Department. Then the third, PESO provides skills retooling for employment and business development. This one, we upgrade the skills, and we also provide some business tips on how to get or provide small businesses like financial literacy and other. And our goal for 2021, PESO Quezon City is geared toward a digital employment facilitation, preparing to put up an online application and online job fair where employers and job seekers can access for a more convenient way in seeking for a better employment and opportunities. Furthermore, PESO will strengthen our virtual skills development and interventions. Thank you and mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Thank you so much for that detailed discussion, Sir Alex. Now let me call back on screen Ms. Mona and Ms. Ali to join us in the panel discussion. Hi all. My first question is for Ms. Ali. We all know that the education sector has been greatly affected during this pandemic, as now that we are now employing online learning. How do you think innovations supported the new normal, not just in learning, but also in teaching?
First of all, modular distance learning or online distance learning also is highly dependent on technology, as we know. Dati, in the olden times, it can be done yung ALS or alternative learning system through modules, but that requires face-to-face learning. However, during this time na hindi pwedeng face-to-face until such time that we have a vaccine, the technology has played a very big role in providing access to education to all our learners. Not only here in the Quezon City, but I think in globally. And I hope that once we get past yung access, we can also harness yung benefits of quality naman. Because ngayon, we're having problems with access just because it's internet-based, most of it. But once we get past that, we find solution for that. I think mas important is that we get more quality content or instruction that can actually improve the quality of learning that we have. And as we know, it's very poor here in the Philippines, but with the help of technology, I think it's really gonna be change the game for education.
Mm-hmm. Ma'am, can I ask, what were the steps or the new learning support that the Quezon City local government has given its public school students and even the college students in our Quezon City University?
First of all, it based on the learning continuity plan of our divisions of city schools, which is part of the DepEd or the central office of the DepEd. We followed their requests to support them in distance learning, and that includes providing modules, and second would be providing the necessary technology for them to be able to do distance learning, and part of that is online. Not 100%, but part of that is online. So, of course, with the leadership of Mayor Joy, we have provided our junior to senior high school students with tablets. So, as of now, all of our public high school students in Quezon City have one, and that also comes with 10 gig of internet data monthly for all our students. Aside from that, we have also provided support to our teachers, about 14,000 teachers in Quezon City for monthly data allowance as well. For college naman, we have endeavored to provide laptops to all our enrolled Quezon City residents in the university. So I think it's wonderful that the vision of the mayor really, even before the pandemic, was to elevate or digitize the way we do learning here in Quezon City. And I think this pandemic was really pushed us, which is one of the silver linings. But I hope we are able to keep up also with the demands of our students. So also, not to forget, we also have a citywide connectivity program wherein citizens, regardless if they are students from the public schools, private schools, they're from basic education or higher education, will have access to internet daily.
Given this technological support, Ma'am Ali, has there been challenges or problems that the Education Affairs Unit has been getting from the parents or the teachers or even the students?
Mhm. Of course, Jeriel, there are birthing pains. Hindi naman natin
Yes.
inexpecto. It was quite abrupt, but I think with constant coordination between the parents and the students and the teachers, the division and the local government, unti-unti nasasagot naman natin yung pangangailangan. But more than anything, as you know, the LGU only is here to supplement the service of the central office. But I think what we also need help with would be assisting the parents on how they can teach their children at home, because we also know na ang laki ng role nila para silang nanay teacher ngayon or tatay teacher.
That's true.
Kung saan they also take on the role of being the guro in the home. And it takes a lot of time, family time, no? And add stressors to the family. But if there are also innovations that would help our parents, siguro para balikan yung lessons nila nung bata sila, para makapagturo sila ng mas mabuti sa mga anak nila, that would be very helpful. Because that's actually one feedback that we get from our Parents Federation here in Quezon City, particularly grades 4 to 6 students. Kasi yung grades 1 to 3, parang they're saying medyo madali pa yung lessons. And then pag high school, independent learners na sila. But yung middle school, which is grades 4 to 6, medyo nahihirapan sila mag-review pa ulit bago magturo sa mga anak nila. So these are just some common challenges that we are facing. Of course, internet connectivity will always be a problem.
Yes.
But we're trying our best to support basic education and higher education here in Quezon City.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Ali. Babalikan pa kita kasi I'm sure there are a lot of innovations and startup solutions that our audience can give to the education sector. Now, can I ask Sir Alex? Sir Alex, for the public employment services, what do you think are the startups or innovations that can support job generation and opportunities in the city?
First of all, as we all know, maraming tinamaan talaga or nawalan na displaced because of this pandemic. And hindi lamang sa mga employees or workers, but pati yung mga business establishment. So if we support the startups to invest again or to go for a business, mag-hire lang siya ng isa or dalawa, malaking tulong na yan para dun sa mga unemployed natin na mga citizen ng QC.
But sir, to be specific, meron ba tayong mga technologies or systems na you think can help our Public Employment Services Office to advance its efforts in providing opportunities for our Q citizens?
As of now, ang ginagawa natin through our Facebook page, our accredited employers ay inaalaw namin na mag-post or pinopost namin yung mga job vacancies nila. At para yung mga applicants, doon mismo nakikita na nila at pwede na directly na makipag-ugnayan sila sa mga employers. Dati kasi pupunta rito sa office, they will need to register here, tapos imamatch namin, then we will refer them or bibigyan namin ng referral. Tapos pupunta sila roon. But now, we sinorkat natin na mas madali at the same time ma-meet up kagad yung pangangailangan ng mga business establishment, particular sa kanilang pangangailangan sa mga workers or employees nila. So sa ngayon, yun pa lang, yun nga isang i-develop namin yung online mismo na online application, online job fair. Yun na yung susunod na innovation na ginagawa natin dito sa city.
Sir Alex, may I ask as well, may mga challenges din po bang that we are facing, lalo na po sa ating mga Q citizens who are applying for jobs? And what are our solutions or support that we are giving them para they can also adjust to this online system that we are building?
Those displaced workers, particularly yung sa mga business industries na nagsara due to this pandemic, ang ginagawa natin other than binibigyan natin silang opportunity na makapaghanap ng ibang mapapasukan nila, meron din tayong tinatawag na retooling or nagpo-provide tayo ng skills, either na yung skills na to ma-upgrade yung existing skills niya or magbigay tayo ng skills o training para magkaroon siya ng iba pang skills niya pwede niya applyan sa ibang industries, lalo na kung yung kanyang existing talagang mahirapan ng magpatuloy. So isa yon sa mga innovation na ginagawa natin. Nagko-conduct tayo ng training. At the same time, through Ma'am Mona, nano rin namin na ano sila ng mga livelihood or ano pa yung pwede nilang i-business na i-set up para hindi lang tayo nakagear dun sa employment, regular employment, dahil nga rito sa problems natin na talaga napakaliit nung opportunity na makapasok siya ngayon due to this pandemic.
Thank you so much, Sir Alex. Now, may I ask Ms. Mona? I'm sure there are a lot of challenges when it comes to the limitations of mobility for our small and micro entrepreneurs, lalo na hindi nila nakikita, or there are not a lot of customers out there. What has been the steps of SBCTPO to help our micro and small entrepreneurs cope up with this new normal?
So thank you for that question, Jeriel. So I think nakikita naman natin lahat na kung sino man nakapunta na sa mga malls lately na wala na talaga masyadong tao. People are afraid to dine in. People are afraid to just go around like how they used to go around in the malls. And we really see na yung retail talaga natin yung na-hit hard because again, everything's online. We can buy anything from Shopee or Lazada or even in Facebook Marketplace. So we don't really need to go na to the malls. Well, first step that we took was, of course, yung mga na-affect na mga businesses during the pandemic. We put up the business wage relief program. So this is for both micro and small enterprises. So if you're a micro enterprise business, you have 9 employees and below. And then you're a small business when you have 10 to 99 employees. So pag micro business kayo, meron kaming wage relief subsidy program wherein the city will pay 3 months salary of your employees for the next 3 months. Minimum wage lang po ito, but malaking tulong na din po sa ating mga business owners. Sa small naman, meron kaming minimum 100,000 pesos po ang maitutulong po ng Quezon City po sa inyo. You just need to submit a business plan wherein like business model canvas lang siya actually, trying to see lang your pains, your where your sources are at, etc. So yun lang po, yun yung pinakamalaking tulong namin lately na launch na po namin. Another one would be helping our micro businesses go online. So that's why we partnered with the 2 biggest e-commerce platforms in the Philippines and in Asia, because we wanted to help our Q citizens that are not able to access online, maybe because they don't have connectivity, they don't have the materials, or they don't know how to upload their products online. Meron kaming mga naitulong po na training po for them. So that's one thing that we wanted to engage them with. Another one is ang pinaka-important that we found was yung financial money apps. Ngayon uso na ang GCash, Paymaya, but not a lot of people actually parang know how to access and also how to use the services. So that's one of the things na naitulong na po namin sa ating, lalo na po sa mga TODA drivers natin at mga jeepney drivers, na yun yung first time nila ma-encounter yung mga apps na yun. So that was a really big help, partnering and engaging with the different digital platforms. Yun, so basically, and then in the next year, we will be doing a lot of livelihood employment programs. So, nasabi nga ni CA Mike kanina, we have the Kalingang QC Bangon Buhay program, which is really for people who want to start up a new business. So, hindi na po ito applicable sa mga may mga negosyo na. Ito po yung mga na-affected sa pandemic, na-affected sa typhoons, etc. So, yun yung mga initiatives po namin in the next few months.
This Bangon Buhay program, how do you think can this encourage a lot of our Q citizens develop and pursue their passion and their interest when it comes to joining the entrepreneurial sector.
Yun. So nakita natin din, one of the things that I think everyone has experienced or discovered during the pandemic was all the quarantine trends that we've seen. So from ube cheese pandesal to cold brew coffee, to sushi bakes, etc. Parang medyo what the pandemic brought out in the people was their yung hobbies that they've tried to keep, or it just stayed hidden during the time na normal pa lahat. So may marami tayong na-discover na magaling pala magluto si ganon, si ito, ganun. So I think that's one thing na yun nga na bring out ng pandemic was that we want to encourage more people through this Bangon Buhay program to pursue what was considered as hobbies before, to make it more profitable for them. Kasi marami po talagang nawala sa atin during, especially the first 4-5 months of the quarantine. Kasi nung mga 6 to 8 months, medyo nag-ano na tayo, medyo nag-open up na lahat. So, yun talaga, I think yung pinaka purpose po ng program na to is to encourage them to ilabas nila yung mga skills nila that they've kept inside. So kaya nga Bangon Buhay, para at least bagong hanap buhay din siya.
That's a good one. I think kung magsisimula na itong Bagong Buhay program, I'm sure a lot of startups or aspiring entrepreneurs, as they call themselves, will continue yung kanilang passion. I'm sure ang dami na nating bakery for sure, ang dami na nating restaurants or any food establishments in the next months or so. I'd like to go back naman kay Ma'am Ali kasi syempre, of course, we know that education is very important when it comes to the development. Pero in the 5 programs that we are offering in Quezon City University, ma'am, how do we ensure also that we are strengthening the creativity and innovativeness of our students para sila naman po yung next na maging innovators and startup entrepreneurs?
Good question, Riel. Actually, most of our enrolled students in the university, siguro 80% or 70% rather, make up those enrolled in entrepreneurship and information technology. And when these two are combined together and ideas are there and are supported, malaking bagay, lalong-lalo na sa panahon ngayon that we need more innovative ideas to push for solutions, and hopefully that we can give them the support that they need. Gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, we have a facility there that's ready to be built as an innovation center. In fact, that is the goal of the mayor, and hopefully we can start by collaborating with the startup community right here to our audience for today. And so you can visit us anytime, just get in touch with us and we'll show you around the university para po makita ninyo how you can help us.
Thank you, Ma'am Ali. Now, I'd like to throw a question for everyone. What are the challenges that we are currently facing in the city that hinders our growth when it comes to the innovation and in building new platforms and new technologies that could help our growth? Kumbaga, it hinders our growth actually.
Ako na lang mag-start.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, ako naman, since our audience is really the startup community, ever since nag-start po kami dito sa administration po ni Mayor Joy, na recognize na po talaga namin that the environment of the startup community wasn't that conducive. Because, like for example, we're one of the cities that do not allow virtual offices, meaning one address na multiple businesses. So that's one thing na we've always wanted to address. Nagka-pandemic lang, but I think ibabalik naman namin yun ulit kasi we really want to encourage tech startups. Actually, last year, we hosted the biggest hackathon in the Philippines at the Araneta Coliseum, the Impact Hackathon with Impact Hub. So doon na-discover namin ang daming mga Quezon City University students na nag-join. Marami tayong mga employees dito sa Quezon City na nag-join din sa mga teams sa hack. na-surprise kami na may mga mahilig pala mag-code dito, etc. So I think that's one thing that my office, together with our IT department and Mayor Joy's office, we want to address is to really create a more conducive startup community, startup environment in Quezon City.
How about you, Sir Alex? What has been the challenges that Peso has been facing in this new normal po?
Unang-una yung sa employment facilitation, because nawala na yung mga yung face-to-face, lalo na yung job fair. Yung job fair kasi malaking tulong yan dahil nandun na mismo yung employer tsaka yung mga employees, pinag-meet up mo sa isang venue. Ngayon, wala yun eh. Yun yung isang mabilis na pamamaraan para magkaroon ng employment. So, ang challenge ngayon, paano mo gagamitin yung technology para ma-support mo yung employment facilitation ng mga na-displace natin o mga walang trabaho.
Thank you, Sir Alex. How about you, Ma'am Ali? Challenge sa education affairs natin.
Challenge in education in general, our people are so used to face-to-face learning na siguro 90% are yun yung normal, and the transition from that mode of learning is quite challenging, especially so that it requires additional expense for the family, as we cater to low-income families also who are mostly coming from our public schools. Also, challenge siguro sa government sa startup community would be also the bureaucratic ways of the government. But I think with political will, which of course our mayor has naman, we're sure to get past all of those and find a way to be more innovative in our ideas, and syempre collaborate and partner with others who are willing to help us.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Ali. Now that the problems and the challenges are out there, I am throwing the question now to the startups. I'm opening up the floor for our innovators and startups on how they can also support the challenges or solve the problems in the city. Let me now open the floor for the question and answer.